Welcome back to another Habs Locker Room Report with hockey coach Joe Coach Franchise directly for beautiful country of Thailand on amazing great Wednesday night, March 20, 2024. And tonight, of course, they are back in the house. Marko Larabi for Hawkesbury and Mr. Enortap from Toronto.
Good evening, Hockey Nation. Enortap, Coach, how are you guys doing?
Welcome All doing back. Well. I can't believe we're getting some snow here in Toronto today, but it's not lasting. Weird. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
It's weird indeed, but it's okay. How about you, Coach? Any snow there in Thailand?
Nobody rained yesterday. It rained yesterday for the first time, really, like almost all, but not all day, but almost. It's right now, again, it's very cloudy, but this is a preparation of the Songkran. This is a festival of the water to wash your bad thing happened to you for the year, and they have to refresh with the new water on you. They send new water on you. And from Roy said to me, this is I don't know, that's a belief on the Thailand culture, but before approximately 3 weeks before they start, usually it rains a lot here, and there's a transformation between the winter to the summer where they're going to have a little bit more. It's going to become more hot and hot and hot. And right now it's approximately 89 to 92 Fahrenheit every day. So we're going to hit the 94, 96 the next 30 days, and that's what the culture is in Thailand. So that's happening.
You miss the snow at all, Coach? Like, you ever miss the snow?
I never miss the snow at all. Like, my last snow was in Colorado. So we talk about 9 years by now.
Wow.
So, but Colorado, it's the snow, the weather. It's not like Minnesota or Montreal. It's not like humid. Like, when it's humid, it's colder, right? The friction, the water, and the temperature. But in Colorado, I would say to you, 34 Fahrenheit. Or 0 Celsius, example, 32, on the snow wing. On the top of the mountain, it was feel like maybe 45, 50 Fahrenheit in Montreal, or maybe plus 10 Celsius. So really different, the weather in Colorado compared to Minnesota. Like Minnesota, I've been there for hockey tournament, play on the pound with the kids. When it was minus 16, it was a minus 16. Your toes and your skate was like cold and not fun at all. At the point, I said, the kids, you're going to play around. I'm going to inside. I have a couple of things wait for me right now there. So, but fine for them. Imagine a kid, guys, like from Florida, right? Is on the water all his life, and then he go to Minnesota, play hockey on the pound. Like the transformation for them, like this is their dream about that. So, and it was minus 30 1 year. The kid was 12 years old, and they don't want to go out of the pound. I have to push them. Say, look, we have to go. It's a curfew. Everybody don't play tomorrow if you don't come back into bed. So, that's
Colorado is beautiful. I lived in Banff, like near Calgary. In the Rockies and everything, it's totally different. Like it's you get winter there, but it's just totally different kind of feeling. The Rockies is absolutely gorgeous.
I live in Aspen, and I do private lessons on the winter. They have a pond outside, and they did it like a Zamboni, so it was pretty nice. And it was like 0 Celsius. I was like in t-shirt outside. Like it was like when you teach about 1 hour, 2-3 hours per day. And it's you get hot, and then it was just like nothing. Like it was just crazy.
The thing about living in the Rockies is clouds can sometimes be like at eye level, right? Like it's just a totally different thing. The weather changes really drastically too.
Like, I'm sorry about that. We're going to welcome everybody in the chat right now, and I'm going to start the show after we talk a little bit. It's okay. But Run with Kings 20 is in the house tonight from Utah, the number one fans of the Los Angeles Kings inside of the Habs Nation podcast. The moderator, by the way, thanks so much, Ron, to be with the Hockey Nation Live show. What about Steve G from Colorado? Steve, The smiling is getting better and better for Colorado Avalanche and the trade deadline. The team is looking better and better. It will be interesting what's going to happen to them. Sébastien back in the house tonight. Welcome back, Sébastien. Thanks to be with our Canadian Live show. And we have also Roger Delaney knocked the door tonight. Roger, thanks to be with our Canadian Live show. Roger, great supporter of the hockey, of course, nation. We have also Gary Cournoyer back in the house. Watch your head. And because I didn't fix it before we start the show, I apologize. I was behind, guys. We are behind this morning, guys, because of me, not because of them. I was busy with other things, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. A few seconds, going to go there and then go back over there. Looking great. Thanks so much again, everybody. Patrick White, here we go. Arizona win the first period for 3.6 time money. Otani to hit a home run at 4.275, and hopefully his body interpreter is not going to touch this kind of money, but we'll do another subject for another time. Gary Conway again. RJ Calabro is on the house tonight. Already give us some update. 3-2 Toronto Maple Leafs, 1-0 the Arizona Coyotes. That would be great if Arizona get at least 1 point tonight against a Dallas Star. Just to, 4-2 now for the Toronto Maple Leafs for run. Well,
the goal got called back.
No goal.
It's still 3-2. Yeah.
So the goal is not good?
No. It's 3-2.
No, it would have been Matthews' hat trick.
I knew that. They try to cheat all the time, Toronto. That's happening. William McClary is in the house. Welcome back, William. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Then we have Sébastien Detroit, Dalbot, Sébastien William, RJ, Claude Richard. Our friend Claude Richard is in the house tonight. Welcome back, Claude. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. And Jerry Willett gave me comments on my phone today. So we welcome back Jerry Willett. Unfortunately, he's a lot busy with his family, with Joseph Laham. They have to take care about the family, so I just want to mention them. We miss you, both of you, and hopefully everything is well with your family. I look forward to see you the next time. You can have a chance to be with us. That's what's happening, guys. I go through everything. I don't know you even want to add something before we start the show, Mr. Marko?
I don't think so, Coach. Like, it's almost spring here, but a little bit of snow. But, getting towards the end of the season here, getting into the stretch run, some more bad news, for the Montreal Canadiens. So lots to cover tonight, lots to chit-chat about. Maybe we'll get out of here before midnight tonight, maybe if we're lucky. I don't know. We'll see.
Enortap?
Depends. It depends. Yeah, we're gearing up for those playoffs, Coach. And if you recall, a long time ago, we said that it comes down to really the last 10 to 15 games, and the team that can put a great streak together is going to be the one that's going to be very difficult to beat in the playoffs. And there's going to be some doozy matchups, especially in that first round. So grab your popcorn. It's going to be fun.
And as you said, the Coyotes now tied the game. Dallas tied the game 1-1 again. Logan
1-1.
Stankoven.
What a story, eh?
Could have been us.
Abination back in the house. You got to drop Tazarav. Abination, Coach, is coming. I'll wait one day for that one Abination. I don't know what's my score today, but I'm happy McMichael scored. McMichael has 15 goals this year. He got a slump, the sophomore season. I remember 2 years ago, he had a good start of his career with NHL with Washington. He did pretty good. And then last year, nothing good for him. But this year, he has 15 goals. We have to give credit for his. A little bit remind me a little bit Zeb Jarvis. Is it Zeb Jarvis the year before that? They have struggled a little bit with Carolina.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Martin Nekash, before that, a couple of years ago, same situation. So sometimes the second year, guys, it's not always perfect. Tonight I'm going to talk about Cole Caulfield, Marko. You'll be happy about about that one over there. But we'll see what's happening about this. We have everybody in the chat so far. So I don't know, you guys, you want to talk about the news. Let's start with the Montreal Canadiens news first, and then we're going to go headlines. And is a fair enough. So maybe catch up a little bit more people the next 15
Sure.
minutes about that. So, Habs Locker Room Report, we have a couple of news. Lane Hudson, for the second year, back-to-back finalist on the Baker Trophy, MVP of the NCAA on the hockey wall. One of them is teammate Mackley. Is it Mackley? Celebrini?
Macklin.
Macklin. Here we go. Sorry about that. Celebrini is also. Look, it's Lenarson did it again, and then he have more points. He's going to have more points this year compared to last season. It's a back-to-back season for him, and he proved something there. I believe whatever he won, he does not win. To be just finalist, that give you how important the kid is for the Boston University, and also could become a good hockey player for Montreal Canadiens. So I don't know if you want to talk about that subject, and then I'm going to move on with others. But Enortap, let's starting with you about this one.
Yeah, it's definitely a prestigious award, and the fact that he's put it together for 2 years in a row. I mean, I think he's the favorite to win it this year. Last year it was Fantilli, if I recall correctly, that won it. But I think he was a close third. So kudos to him. He's had another great year, put up great numbers, and more importantly, he's worked on his defensive game a little bit more as well. So I'm looking forward to him making the transition. Hopefully, we don't know if it's guaranteed yet, but
yeah. I was watching Jeff Gordon did an interview with Pierre Maguire on his podcast yesterday or the day before. And by the way, Jeff Gordon happened to be in the Boston area. I guess and in his interview, he mentioned that they were quote unquote doing college stuff. So I'm not sure if he was there trying to maybe sign a couple of college free agents or talking to
honestly, he cannot do anything about that, right?
Not yet.
No, well, they can have conversations and do digging. Yeah, you can ask trainers questions and you can start asking questions.
He can talk with the people around, but he cannot talk with the players. Or
no, not with the player directly, but you can still, like, Jeff Gordon is very much a kind of boots on the ground kind of guy, right? So he has the blood of a scout, right? So he might not be able to talk necessarily to the players or the coaches, but he knows how to get information.
Yeah, anyways, but my point behind that, like, the NCAA is so straight about this. When I was scout, I will go around, and you cannot talk any players like around to anything. First of all, they don't have agent until they get the next level after that. So it's really strange that with NCAA applied that rule around those kind of players. So, but I can understand he's around anyway to follow up what's going on over there. And also, Marko, is a good time to get there. We have a great hockey game. If you want to watch the NCAA this weekend, guys, Boston, not Eastern last week, then Boston University. Is it New Hampshire or Maine against Boston University? William can give me that answer.
I think it's Maine.
Maine, right? And two game, I believe, a tie game, very good, close this year. So we'll be interesting to see that. And then, of course, the winner at this game going to be the winner, the Boston Terrier, I believe. Steve G is in the house again, but Abination knocked the door, followed by RDP and Royce Troy. Thanks so much, all of you. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. And the dollar star, guys, 3-1. Jimmy Bain got a score for them. And then Tyler Seguin. Oh, I let my fantasy players set up tonight. Another subject.
Before we move off that question, so the reason I brought up Jeff Gordon, though, other than him nosing around a little bit, maybe looking at some of those games and looking at some of those players, he was talking about Lane Hudson's season, and gave his thoughts as to kind of how he felt his year went. Jeff Gordon definitely very, very satisfied with how Hudson's season went. Like, he's really happy with the coaching staff in Boston in terms of how they were, really getting him to focus on his overall game, being a little bit better with puck management, especially was the key thing. And just talking about how impressed he was with his World Junior. So overall, it tells you that certainly they think that Hudson they think he's an underrated defender, is kind of another thing Jeff Gordon was talking about. So interesting, so yeah, like we'll see how the tournaments go here with Hudson, and we hope to maybe see him play a couple games in Montreal this year.
Yeah, I agree about that. We thanks for the people with the likes. I still won my bet. The result was up after one period. Patrick Lewhite, congratulations about that one. On this one, a little bit one to left, right. David Rebacker knocked the door. David Rebacker is around the Montreal with the Laval Rocket. David Rebacker, it was supposed to be my subject. I changed this morning, but the subject for the time. We talked about this last night. I was a bit not upset, but I feel like it's so hard in Montreal. JC Lajoie, he got hammered on the social media yesterday. I don't follow TVS Sport. I don't follow him a lot, but I will pick sometime, right? And one, you have a feed, the trends, right? He pick up on my social media, honestly, and then.
In all fairness, like what happened there, Coach? Because I did watch that. I think that episode. So, like, if you listen to what GC actually talked about, he was saying he wasn't sure he's ready for the NHL yet, and basically he was saying he does have faith because everybody was critical about Slafkovsky, and look how Slafkovsky has turned out, right? So he believes in the pick and everything, but it's just the the banner at the bottom for the segment was Reinbacher bust ? So that was definitely kind of a little bit clickbait-y kind of, and that's what everybody kind of saw. But if you listen to what he actually said, he wasn't bashing him or anything like that. It's fair to ask questions, right? Like a lot of fans have questions as to whether it was the right pick. A lot of forwards in that draft, a lot of defensemen this year. Like these are all fair questions. It doesn't mean that that he's bashing the guy, but like you said, social media, they just completely went nuts on him yesterday.
Oh yeah, he was very bad about it. You're right, but the word "bus" should not be that one. That's the wrong word to describe what he was said. I read a little bit what he said also, but at the end of the day, the boss. And after that, you have Baden on the other show mentioned about he's not ready for NHL, and you have to be careful, right? Because now it turned around to be now maybe he never played in NHL. So I think for me, it was let him alone, let him alone. And then you know what? At the end of the day, and you go to see this. I'm telling you right now, Friday they play. Maybe he's going to play whatever he's going to play his next game. Right? You're going to see the feeling, guys. If he scored 2 goals, he has 2 points. He's going to be the next Bobby Orr. And if he does -3, he's going to be the next Terry Harper. Like the people will go to judge him right away at the beginning. Like imagine what happened with Juraj Slavkovsky 1 year ago, right? He was already a boss where people judge him quickly. We put Caden Primo, who will be the next best backup for the Montreal Canadiens, then he get 5 goals against Calgary. So for me, when you develop a players, you have to give them time and let them. We can judge the performance. Right? I think a couple of months ago, I think Marko was with me, and then someone popped up. I think it was Ellen again, maybe someone else. It was like very upset about the way. I think it was her during the. I think it was in October. I think it was exhibition game, Marko. If I can recall it was exhibition game. Where we're just judging the performance of the player. And it was not, again, if the player is going to be a very bad player or anything like that. But
it was Logan Mailloux. I think it was Mailloux that we're...
Again, so it's possible about that. But again, at the day...
Yeah, well, it was. I remember exactly. It was that... Remember that game where Mailloux was playing and he tried to be really aggressive against Hughes, and he got Jack Hughes, and it was like I think he was killing a penalty, and he decided to just like start forechecking, and then Jack Hughes just... So we were just, we're just analyzing the game. We didn't think, like, we knew May was going to be a good player, but yeah, it happens, Coach.
Look, you have a fight yesterday between Oilers fans, something like that.
Yeah, I saw that on social media.
So I think it's happening there. Okay, Luciano, go to that. Luciano, welcome back. Luciano, but the radar is in the house tonight. Welcome in the house. Boston College 2, Boston University number 2, and Denver University number 3. Here we go. Will be interesting what could happen about this for sure. And whatsoever happening this weekend for Boston University and Boston Terrier, if you follow a bit more the NCAA, because they are on the top 16, they are whatever they lose, that team is get pass and he have to return. He's going to play at the end of the March, the weekend playoff for that weekend as a top 16, right? And then you play that weekend, and then the fourth team go after that, the final four after that. So is it in Arizona? I believe it's Arizona this year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah.
So David Rebecca, I'm going to see him. We wish the best for him. And for me, it's whatever happened right now. I will wait a little bit more in September, October when he's going to start next season. It'll be great. Joshua Webb, but the bad news about him, going to talk a little bit more deeper about that situation with Joshua Webb, is right now going to be out for indefinitely for what I heard on social media. I think he was waiting to have some tests. But it looked like he's going to be out for a couple of weeks for sure. And Samuel Montembeault, isn't that the news? Samuel Montembeault, only one win in the last couple of weeks with the Montreal Canadiens. I think it's 4 weeks now. You have only one win, so a couple of people are a little bit concerned about Samuel Montembeault. A little bit like it happened to Jake Allen. They will tell him you have only one win, but consistency for me is more about Montembeault. Roller coaster at some point, but it's very hard to judge at gold than there. When you have a team like the Montreal Canadiens, sometimes the performance is on the defensive. It's not always perfect about that. So it's a little bit what happening, guys. Montreal Canadiens. I don't know if you have any news you heard today. Martin, so guys, for me, I let you go. I don't want to go deep. We don't, me. I let the people talk about this, but I don't see interesting about that at this moment. And I don't know if you have anything you want to add about Montreal Canadiens news today.
I don't think so. Not
there wasn't much that came out of the practice from today. I mean, with the whole issue around Montembeault with the one win, I mean, you also have to keep it in perspective. The team has not won very many games over the last 10. So it's all relative, and we have to take it from that perspective. Otherwise, we get knee high in stats that we can make stats lie for us or view it in a different fashion. It's all about the eye test and making sure that what you're seeing is improvement, and that's indeed what we're experiencing. I know losing is not always fun. It's not fun looking at losing games, but you have to go beyond that, especially when it's a rebuilding team. I understand if it was a team that's pressing for a playoff spot, then you can be a little bit more critical. But at this stage, do we see some development? Do we see some improvement? And I think we definitely do.
You have seen a little bit of a drop off especially in his save percentage, I believe. Basically, since he signed his contract, overall, I think he's around 95 for the whole season. But I think over the last 10, 50 games, he's around 895 in his save percentage. So slight dip, I guess, overall in his overall output, or his performance. But I think there's a couple of games there that were complete blowouts, right? Like there's a game where he was in for 9 goals, and overall, I think the consistency is still there. Like I think most games he's keeping, like ultimately for an NHL goalie, you just want your goaltender to give you a chance to win. It's not very often that Montreal is not in the game, as we've been talking about. They're in all these 1-goal games. I can count maybe on one hand where there would be a game this year where I said, you know what, if we just got better goaltending, we'd be right there. But the last thing on my list of issues this year is goaltending, right? So overall, still happy with how he's doing. Could we see a little bit more consistency or a little bit better with control with his rebounds is what I've been finding recently. A little bit of concentration around the net, little things like that. But overall, I think he's operating at still a pretty decent level.
What I can see, I don't know if you agree with me, but sometimes he did some kind of move where what he did there, like where he's like yesterday against McDavid, guys. I know it's McDavid, but I feel like he was completely out of the picture. He did not do the right decision. I would say I don't want to say the right move, the right decision. I see the game
read,
before that. You know, so sometimes a goalie guess. It's just like I see this a little bit more and more. It's hard, guys, to be a goalie, first of all, right? You're always going to have always bad goal,
Oh yeah.
everything like that. But I see a repetition of those kind of move for me. I don't know how you feel about this statement, but that's what I'm thinking.
The McDavid
Yeah,
goal
I mean,
reminded. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. I was just going to say, you do notice it a little bit, but I see it more so in Primo though. I mean, some of the goals that he gets beat on, you almost see him in a ballerina mode where he spins around and then it takes him way out of position. And it's happened about a handful of times so far that I think the goaltending coaches have to really bring it to his attention and emphasize about his positioning and being a little bit more solid. With Montembeault, it's more about the rebounds. I find a lot of times he's given up those rebounds in front of the net. There was a point when he had sort of corrected it to some degree, but now he seems to be falling back on those bad habits and going down too quickly too. That's always been a bit of a concern of mine.
The McDavid goal, coach, reminded me a little bit about the overtime goal that DeBrus scored on him. Like just the read of the situation, kind of like not anticipating that the player was going to kind of like take the puck around him. It's a tough read though, right? Like these are plays that happen really fast. Like the player basically kind of going really fast laterally across. Like it's a pretty hard play to read. For me, Primo, like what I'm seeing from Primo, guys, is I find like on the ground, like when he's like his low game is really really effective. Like I feel really really confident when I see when the play is low. Like it's just sometimes for him it's his ability to track the puck in traffic that I find that he gets a little bit of an issue. Like I think Montembeault has a little bit more experience being able to look around guys and play in traffic, while Primo's still kind of learning that at the NHL level. But where I think Primo's really elite is his pads, like his pad work. Like he's really really impressive down low, taking away the lower part of the net, right? So pretty impressive. I think Primo's like a little bit more athletic than Montembeault as well too. Like he kind of like whip out like a really kind of nimble save once in a while Montembeault, it reminds me more of like Jaguar, right? He's much more positional than Primo. But like I said, guys, I think we're nitpicking a little bit, right? Like the goaltending has been pretty solid. Like I'd say there's probably 1/3 of the league that would be really happy to get the level of goaltending that Montreal's gotten this season.
Yeah, if you talk about Sven, analytic data, Montreal performance is good because the GSVA is solid, right? And they keep the Montreal in the game. So this is the reason they are 13 from Atlantic website and NHL. This is behind that. So we just talk about Sven situation for Sven goaltend about them. So we want to welcome back before we go to headline, guys. Mr. KLS is in the house. KLS, welcome back. John Grega, Boston Bruins, he's in the house tonight. And I think I did everything. If I missed one of you guys, I apologize. Don't forget to click on the likes. That'd be awesome. And we're going to go, guys, on the headline of the evening. It is what it is. Or you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to see all this very soon. First one. Right.
Yeah. So, that, guys, like when you were a kid and, you would break stuff around the house and, like your mom would just say, like, I just can't give you anything nice. You just can't hold on to anything, or you break all your nice things. And it's kind of what we feel like, being Habs fans is, we love our coach. He's so entertaining and so knowledgeable, and we love watching him. Well, you can't have him for potentially here the rest of the season. Oh, wait a minute, Habs fans, you're excited about a young prospect you've been waiting for 2 years to play in the NHL to see if he's going to be. Oh, no, you're not going to be able to watch him either. Game 2 of the season. Oh, you're excited to see your 6'4" third overall center play and see if he's going to develop into a potential cornerstone for your franchise. I don't know. 4 periods into the game, you can't have anything nice, Habs fans. That's what the universe, unfortunately, is telling us. Is this year we just have to find different things to keep us interested, keep different things to keep us, to kind of like continue to follow the team. Yeah, so it's just unfortunate, right? Like, these are really important pieces that Habs fans are really excited to watch how they're developing. Martin Saint Louis, like I said, such an important piece. Whether it's during the game, in the interviews, the press conferences. So we know it's going to be a tough kind of stretch here at the end of the year, knowing that Montreal has, I think, the second hardest schedule, I think, in the NHL moving forward here. So it's going to be hard, So it's already kind of going to be hard for Habs fans to kind of find good reasons to really be excited, and we just keep having things to kind of taken away from us, Coach. I don't know, so maybe as a back end question here, guys, what is it that, like, what is the shiny new thing that you're going to be kind of excited to watch here now that, unfortunately, it looks like Joshua Roy, we're assuming like he's going to get x-rays. It's probably a broken hand based on kind of what we saw, him blocking that shot. That's just the kind of luck that we're having this year, right? So what's a shiny new thing? Like, Reinbacher, he's going to be playing in Laval, so that's not in Montreal. Lane Hudson, maybe we'll get lucky. He'll maybe play a game or two, but what are we going to see here, guys? Are we going to see, maybe it's the resurrection of RHP? He gets to play on the third line. What do you guys think? What are we going to be focusing on here in the next couple weeks?
But if you think that way, that kind of toy you're looking for, I think the resurrection for the 1635 time after Jesus Christ. I'm talking about Josh Anderson. That's maybe the only one
Lazarus.
I can see right now.
Lazarus.
I think that would be just as amazing and prophetic if Josh Anderson can raise from the dead again. That would be pretty epic and maybe even worth that comparison. But
he's really deep right now. He's really deep right now. It's not sure they can get it. But on the flip side, would be my question or my poll question every day I do at 10 o'clock p.m. It's really nice you talk about this one, because I think for me, it will be the race of it's fun race, but for me, the question is about how many points Sarkozy is going to get at the end of the year. He's at 37. Can he reach the 40? Can 45? Can he push all the way to 50? And on the flip side, guys, we have this Nick Ski right now. He is at 27 goals. Can he raise a 30 goal? Can he get the 80 point? Can he get 1 point per year, 1 point average per game at the end for 82 point? So this is the kind I'm going to motivate that. And then watching Montreal to finish the last 14 game on the right foot and to be prepared for next year. And at the end of the day, guys, you have some players going to fight for the spot for next season for the Montreal Canadiens, whatever they have under contract. I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of people like Jayden Strouble, but I will not guarantee him he have a spot next year with the Montreal Canadiens.
It's going to be tough. So who do you see?
You don't know.
Who do you see jumping up? So obviously they like Newhook and Armia playing well together, right? So is the logical choice you move RHP up to that lineup? But they probably like, the reason they have RHP on that fourth line is the reason they put him there is because they know they can count on him there, and they want somebody on that fourth line that can kind of be a driver, right? So if you do move up RHP, he's that fourth line is going to suffer from that as well, right? So what would you be looking to do if you're, I guess if you're Letowski, but if you're Letowski, what are you looking to do here?
Yeah, the problem is you don't want that second line had really been clicking, and you don't want them to all fall apart just because maybe Raw isn't there at this point. So, and we have seen much better play out of RHP lately. I mean, his drive has just been fabulous, even if it doesn't always translate to points. But just the little things that he does, the checking, the the way he tries to get himself in front of the net and back checks. It's quite something to see, and I think he might be rewarded by being put on that second line at this stage. I mean, you called it earlier, Marco. The schedule is very difficult for them moving forwards. You can't go into these games expecting that you're going to win half of them, because it's going to be quite a Herculean mountain to climb here. But you want to just be able to see that they have that compete level and that they're not giving up. And with this few games left, I don't think that that'll be the case. I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place as well, because, and I'll get into it with my headliner a bit too. They were expecting Watt to go back down and help Laval with their final push, and it doesn't obviously appear that that's going to happen either. So, they want Laval to have that experience. A lot of the players that they go to the playoffs, because it's you gain so much from it. But by the same token, they're in a bit of a pickle here as well in terms of who do you play with whom and at what line.
Side question, Enortap. Did you ever have a toy when you were a kid that you broke? And that you were really upset? Yeah, that you.
Yeah, constantly.
You weren't really
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty good with my toys when I was young. It's more my brother that was a bit more destructive in nature, but that's a different story for another time.
Here we go. We can go to the next one.
Yes, sir.
All right. My laugh and Marko is because of this one. Because both of you talk about Joshua West, so that was the reason behind that one over there. And originally, Mike, it was about Joshua West, so I changed at the last minute. But okay, the subject of the game, the show is about Joshua West anyway. But let's move on with that.
Yeah, I mean it's dominating everything around Montreal right now, and again, here nothing earth-shattering here in terms of what we're going to say. It's more just, as Marko was alluding to, just when things are going right, they seem to fall back. You think back to in Raw's case, and I was trying to indicate here the royal flush, but it could be taken both ways, right? Obviously, a very successful hand, and in this case, alluding to where he's come from and where he's at right now in his development, and the fact that with that injury now, it's flushed down the toilet a little bit, but it's still something that he can learn from. But if you think back to the fact that the Habs really, you can consider they hit a home run when they picked Roy in the 5th round of the 2021 NHL draft. I think he was around 150th overall, and he was really showing off his skills in the queue. He was more importantly, at the time there were questions around his work ethic, but once he was picked up by the Canadiens, I think he really dedicated himself to better fitness, and the results I thought were quite immediate. Like he became one of the best players in the queue for 2 years, and after he was drafted, and then that translated to a very strong start in the AHL with the Rockets this year, where he had 32 points in the first 40 games that he played, and he had a bit of an injury issue there too, but it wasn't too serious. Otherwise, I think those numbers would have been a little bit more inflated. And now he's played about 23 games here in Montreal. And, since the day he was called up, he's been nothing but a pleasure to watch. He's really shown that he's got everything that's needed to be a successful player in the NHL. And again, it doesn't always...
Is there any part of his game that's really surprised you? Looking at him in these 23 games, like, is there anything that's kind of exceeded your expectations about him since he's been playing up?
Yeah, I think his skating. I knew that he would always compensate. Like there was some drawback at some point, saying that he wasn't as fast as some of the other players and prospects, and that his his lateral view wasn't as great. But I didn't see that at all. I mean, this is a guy that I think really thinks the game through well, and I don't think it's a coincidence that when you look at Newhook and Armia, that they're playing extremely well with him as well. Like I think he makes them better. And again, that's not to take anything away from those two because they're good players in their own right. But I think they read each other off of each other very well, and he sort of Roy really sort of takes things to the next level and it sort of pushes the envelope with them and encourages them to get involved just like he does. So for me, that's the part that's really encouraging. And then today, of course, we get the bad news that he's out indefinitely. And from the picture up above, you could see that that's the play that led to his injury. Bouchard taking a slap shot. And again, what does he do? He jumps right in front of it to try to block it. And very much like when Gallagher got hit on his hand a couple times from Weber's shot, it looks something very, very similar. So let's hope it's just
Hopefully,
something like a deep bruise and nothing more than that. But
well,
it's
Gallagher, like,
one part of the
yeah,
hand that's not very well protected.
yeah. I don't know if you can compare it to Gallagher because I remember the camera getting a close up of Gallagher's hand, and it was like all mangled.
Yeah,
Like
it
his.
was mashed up. Yeah,
So I think we would know already if it was that bad, right? So hopefully it's just
yeah,
maybe a fracture, a hairline fracture in his hand or something like that. But yeah, but I think Coach, you had a really good Habs daily today. And I'm sure we'll talk about the game, but that's definitely something that really kind of stood out last night, right? Like you have Gallagher with a huge block. Savard is blocking shots every night, but yeah, that's been a really interesting part of Roy's game, right? Is that element? To me, so if you his skating for sure stood out for me in terms of what surpassed my expectations. But guys, the board battles that he's been winning, especially over the last say 5 games, like if he goes into the corner with
back
a
check.
defenseman, there's like
Yeah,
at least a 50-60% chance that he's going to come out with the puck. After a while, like for example, you compare it like when you saw Drouin skating towards the boards, towards the defenseman, you knew there was like a only a 1% chance that he was going to somehow come out with the puck, right? But then you have
yeah,
players like Armida, you got Slavkovsky, and now you've got Roy that are just really, really good at winning these board battles. And it's so, so important. Like, I think we were all really impressed in the chat yesterday. We were talking about how at points Montreal was just dominating in terms of their forecheck and just being able to keep those plays alive, right? He's so smart on the ice. So very fun to watch.
Good.
yeah, indeed. And the good thing about it, Coach, is I think he has shown us. I know it's a limited sample size, but he has shown us that he belongs on the second line. And he's definitely a top six player. When you
Mhm.
put that together with the fact that next year he's working with a little bit more talent. When you're talking about somebody like Doc, and maybe who knows, maybe somebody that we draft this year, that second line could be quite formidable.
Yeah.
I,
You never want to put a limitation on a guy. Like it would be great if he turns out that way, but maybe you hope so. But like
Yeah, I mean,
you know
time will
what is
tell, of course. But
I think for me is like I think Gary said this in the chat. I think he see him like more like a third line, and I think if you look about in my future crystal ball, Roy and New Hook on my third line, that will give me a solid top nine in NHL players, and hopefully I'll be right for that. 6-3 Toronto against Washington, back-to-back goal, by the way, by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tonight, right now, Matthew, I think, at 4 points right now. McMahon, guys, 11 goals this year for Bobby McMahon, so that's pretty good for that. And Ovechkin, guys, scored another goal, 23 goals. Can he reach the 40, the 30? That'll be interesting to see that for that. Is it me or does Nick look a bit more mobile on his game lately compared to say last year? Nicholas, keep your question. Going to answer to you. I did that sometime. I forgot that. But if I forgot the question, Nicholas, in the next 10 minutes, remind us about that. And we'll see what we can do. I'm your agent asking for 2 years at $2.5 million.
Why would they be negotiating a contract? He still has 1 more year.
No, but if it's happened, what do? Do you accept this deal or not?
So that
2.5 for 2 years.
It's a little bit more reasonable than what he's doing now. I mean, if he can continue like he did after his return from Laval, I mean, you can definitely make a case for him to stay. I mean, maybe 2.5 is a little bit high. I would try to get a little bit lower.
It's just a weird question, right? Because he has another year on his contract, right? So if you're asking me, like, let's say if he was a UFA this summer, would I pay 2.5 for 2 years for the Armia that we're seeing now? Yeah, I would, 100%.
Yeah. Right now, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Since he's come back,
would I give him an additional 2 years after that? After next year? I don't know. Like, we'll have to. It really depends on how if he's maintained this kind of performance, and then also what's going on with some of the development that we have with some of the because in 3 years from now, guys, like, let's be honest, right? Like the bulk of Montreal's forward prospects are going to be middle six kind of guys, right? So, and you're going to have Tucks, you're going to have guys like that, right? The Kapanins that are coming and stuff like that. So I don't know. We would have to see kind of what's going on at that point.
We'll see his value, by the way, and trade deadline next year, what he look like. Also, there's another aspect to think about this. But
Coach, they might be competing for a playoff spot, though, so you wouldn't be a seller, right?
I don't think so, but they will be close, by the way, at the trade deadline next year. I feel like they would be closer, but not good enough to get that. Anyhow, my headline of the night, guys, I changed, and then I feel like it's a little bit more this way. Character over talent. And for me, it's been the way they select their players, the Montreal Canadiens. They really focus. It's not said when I said that the guys do have no talent, but have character is going to be. But at the end of the night, approximately on the same, when you look about a scout, we scout player, right? You look about his talent, their skill, the skating, and for checking and physicality, all the aspect of the scouting report. So I think that'd be something to look about that. But they really focus on the character of the players, how they act, the experience during the time they play junior. If you go to the Memorial Cup example, if you play at the World Junior Championship, if you go to the World Championship example, and all the biggest challenge they face at young age, at 16, 17, 18, if you was draft a first round pick example, all put together, they make the players a little bit more mature with some kind of characters. And for them, this is those area of the when they select a player, they really focus, they really pay attention. And for me, that reminds me a little bit Sakowski left home at early age, take responsibility at young age, and he go through the process to be at the World Championship, anything like that. David Rebecca, he was another selection on the same way about this. They really want to build a team come with the culture of the foundation. Is really about the character, the leadership. And I think they have a lot of players. They are on the same mold. This is the reason sometimes they will keep a player around a little bit longer, or they think they will be fit. And inside of the culture what they try to build. And for me, the character of the player is very important, and that's maybe the reason they select more. And it's not only the character like as a person, but also how you can deal with the media in Montreal, how you can deal with the pressure to play in Montreal, how you can deal with the performance or a bad performance, a good performance. Every single day you have a mic on there. And honestly, uh, it's rare you see a guy at 19 years old like Juraj Sikorsky uh, act every day properly with the right answer or the great answer, and he enjoy it and he feel no problem. He don't feel uncomfortable. Does it make sense? Like he don't feel like
Yeah.
he feel bad, or he feel, oh, I cannot say that, or I cannot do it. He enjoy to be under the mic because many times he laughed with a reporter. The reporter enjoyed to be with him because he makes some joke around, and that's at 19 years old. We don't talk about a guy like 23, have a girlfriend, he's thinking about family, everything like that. We talk about a 19 years old. So it's pretty amazing for me. Come with the only not only the point. For me, this is the reason I want to share it with you. Character over the talent, and understand, right? But I'm talking about talent. Versus, like when I said that, it's not like a here and here, right? But for me, it was a great when they look between Shane Wright and Juraj Sikorsky. They're really focusing on the way the character, the players at home in Montreal. This is another aspect on the scouting. And they come with the interview. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people said Pobrov in the past, right? I feel like they have a really good system to meet the players, to talk with the people. Listen, guys, they not only talk with the coach, they talk about the family members, they talk about the friends, they talk about people surround the players, around the teammate, the player played before that, and I can go all the way. It's really they do really a good homework. It does feel I could go another line. I feel good me about the management of Montreal Canadiens right now. They would make mistake, of course, right? You're not going to hit the target or the bonsai every single time. But I feel good for the future. This was the reason I said this morning. The future is bright in Montreal Canadiens. And following my headline, I'm going to add more a little bit later about the future in Montreal. But I just want to share it with you about this headline because, you know, at the end of the day, I would like to talk about Joshua, but I changed at the last minute. I would like to hear from you, whoever wants to talk about this.
Yeah, it makes
Coach,
total sense, Coach.
Yeah,
sorry.
for sure. And
go ahead, Mark.
And by the way, Coach, like if you ever see we have all the same headlines, don't hesitate to just text me and say, "Give me a different headline," because
sure. It's just because in our time he gave me this 32 minutes usually before the show starts.
I got home late. I got home late tonight. And
no, that's just kidding about difficult. That. I always check about this if it's something I try to modify mine. It's rare we have the same, by the way. But again, you guys was friendly. One, it was about the players, and then the performance of the players. So that's the reason I did not do anything.
Yeah. But yeah, so on like, so the thing with character, like, you know, again, we have to give the Bergevin management team its flowers too when it comes to this, right? Like, this is not the first time we've heard character as one of the primary criteria that the Habs, so Timmins and Bergevin, this was at the top of their list too, right? And it's a testament to, like, you know, you have your goalies and a lot of great prospects that are currently playing in Montreal that were drafted from them. So I'd say there's a continuity in that philosophy. There might be different ways that they go about analyzing players' characters and everything else. I'm sure there's some differences, but at least there's been some consistency on that front. So, but you're right, Coach. Like, it takes a special kind of person to be able to succeed in Montreal, right? And in a way, you could see, like, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Kotkaniemi. In a way, he did have the right profile because he is a pretty kind of chill guy, right? And you do need to be able to let criticism kind of just drip down your spine and not be able to affect you for too long. With Kotkaniemi, maybe it was just a little bit too much, too relaxed, where it didn't really bother him at all. But you're right. Now, here's an interesting question that I'll flip you guys according to this too, though, is that assuming that you have all these great guys and you've built this great culture, what it might allow you to do as well, once you've established that culture, is then maybe you can bring in a guy that maybe doesn't have the best reputation or work habits, but has that high level of skill. And because your room, like think about the Boston Bruins, right? You can bring in pretty much anybody into that room and they have to follow because it's just the way that they play. So by having more and more of these really strong character guys that are the foundation of what you're building, maybe you can bring in a guy that, you know what, like he wasn't being successful because that team's culture wasn't strong enough to support them. So you know, that's the beauty of it, right? Is maybe one day you'll be able to take on a player that doesn't have that same character or that same strength, but you can make it work and allow that talent to be on your team because the rest of the guys are going to take that pressure for him, right? So it's just an interesting thought there. Enortap, I interrupted you. Go for it, man.
No, no. I was as you're speaking, I'm thinking also of when Kovalev came here to Montreal. I mean, talk about talent. He was second to none, but sometimes the work ethic wasn't quite there on a consistent basis. But as you mentioned, he did have a surrounding cast that could propel him, and when he needed to score that goal at key times, he was there. Like there's very few players that can bring an entire stadium up on its feet, and when they touch the puck, and he was one of those. I thought that was fantastic. But you know, the coach, to address yours, yeah, of course, all things considered, character is critical. I don't see how you can build without players that have that willingness to fight and to and to win, that desire to win. It has to be ingrained in who they are, in their DNA. And you don't have to go further than, you know, like some of the interviews that they did with Fowler, and we mentioned about Reinbacher and also Slavkovsky, to see the evidence. The only thing I would say, Marco, that was a little bit different than the previous regime. Yes, they were looking for character too, but I find that the current regime sort of surrounded themselves with more personnel to sort of feed off of each other, and to get things a little bit, to give more opinions, and to sort of do deeper searches into not only the players but into the direction that they want to go as a team. Whereas before, I don't want to say it was a one-man show, because it wasn't. That would be unfair to say, but it seemed like the buck stopped at Bergevin, and you know, if he had to sort of rule somebody out, he would do it at the end. Whereas I think both Gordon and Hughes are a little bit different. They'll listen. They might have their minds made up in terms of who they want to select, but they seem to also be open to the fact that other people have seen these prospects play a little bit longer, maybe have seen more footage, maybe have spoken to more coaches and family members, that they will take their advice under consideration.
One thing that's different though too, Enortap, is, and coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually when a team is picking in the top five, if I'm not mistaken, like of course the head of scouting and the scouts are going to have their word to say, but usually if it's a top five pick, it's really the GM that is really stepping up and taking a little bit more leadership, just because of the high impact that it's going to have on the organization, right? So the thing though, since Hughes and Gordon have been around, those are the only types of picks that Montreal's have had, right? Like these foundational top five picks, right? So, you know, what's interesting to me is that, and it's likely to be that way again this year. So, yes, they're relying on their scouting staff, but it sounds to me they've been really, really. I think the buck does stop with Hughes. Now, when they start picking, hopefully, at some point here, 20th overall and 25th overall, maybe then Bobroff and Martin Lapointe will have a little bit more say in those picks. But coach, correct me if I'm mistaken, but when you're picking top five, of course, you're relying on all the data that's come in, and you're going to listen to all the opinions, but it's really going to come down to the GM to make that pick, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And then the character, the fit, they want to think about this because they spend some time. Look about the 4 player last year. I would be interesting if Montreal can have the first round pick. I understand Bedard. Put Bedard out.
Yeah.
After that, Fentelli and then the way with Will Smith and Carlson, which one are you going to take? Or those 3 players? It would be something I would be really, to see that, what one they will look for that. But again, it was about the headline tonight, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Don't forget to click on the likes. A few people knocked the door. Welcome in the chat. Thanks to be with us tonight. The subject of the night, guys, about Joshua Sidelined out for a couple of weeks. We have to wait for the result of his test, and then today. Heartbroken game last night, but the future is bright with the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to talk about this game the next couple of minutes. But before that, guys, I want to have your reaction about 2 things here. First, Nicholas, I have a question, so I didn't forget about this. I take a note. I take a note because if I forget, I get some tomatoes around me. Nicholas, is it on me or does Nick look a bit more mobile on his game lately compared to last season?
Yeah, Coach. Like I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. To me, this is probably the biggest. Like since the All-Star game, like that's when Suzuki took off, right? And to me, the biggest thing that's changed is his skating. Even going back to when Dominic Ducharme and even back to when Claude Julien was here, the only criticism that they had was, and even Sandy, we said it at points last year, is when he's not moving his feet is where because he's not the fastest guy. Sometimes the only kind of fault that Nick Suzuki has is that his whole life, like he's so smart and he has such an advanced hockey IQ that probably his whole career he's been able to just be in the right place at the right time and do whatever he wants because he's just so smart, right? But sometimes, even though you know where you want to be, you have to rely on your legs to get you there and just be more in motion, right? So I think that's the one thing I've noticed with him is just a lot better kind of like mobility and just kind of keep his feet moving. And, that just keeps you sharper. But that's the thing about Nick Suzuki, Coach, and probably goes to why he's never, and I'm afraid to, I probably shouldn't even say this on air because it's going to jinx it. But he's never missed an NHL game. Never. He's played every single game. And the reason, in my opinion, that he's like that, compared to, remember I was talking about Gouli sometimes, how he's a little bit clumsy, and maybe that's why he gets injured a lot. He's a little bit reckless, and he puts himself in weird positions. Well, Nick Suzuki is very economical and smart about how he positions himself out there. But I think right now he's found the right balance, right? So maybe in the past he's been very economical with his movements. He doesn't skate for nothing. But maybe at some points in the past, like he just needed to move his feet a bit more to stay more implicated in the play. Now he's just finding the right balance, right? Like a little bit more movement in his game, still being economical though, and still be able to play a lot of minutes and be effective. So great observation by Nicholas for sure. I think his skating, I don't think the skating is improved. I think he's moving his feet more. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, that's one area that he focused on this year was his back check quite a bit, and we're seeing that he's a much more complete 200-foot player this year. That's the beauty of having somebody that pushes himself, especially in the off season. There's areas of concern, and he will address them to try to make himself better for the following year. And I think he's done a lot of work with his upper body as well, because he's not easily pushed off the puck. You'll notice, even against larger players.
He's a fire
hydrant. Great point. I would say to you, for me, it's rare you see Suzuki on his foul. Like he have to be a very good hit. Like it compared to other players I'm talking about, right? He's always strong. So you have a really lower body, strong about that. I think you use the word balance, right? Put his body in the right position, everything like that, and he can hit. Um, he can hit like if you go one battle like a battle and you go in the corner where he can go and he can hit. Who remind me? And I understand it's not him,
Forsberg.
but
You're gonna say Forsberg. You're gonna say Forsberg.
no, I will say to you Ovechkin. When Ovechkin, not about the physicality, I'm talking about it's rare Ovechkin fall. Like he's always stand up many times. So I'm not talking about the body of the Ovechkin, like he can hit his 230, I understand that. But I'm talking about, if you look about, he's only 5'11", by the way, Suzuki. Like he's not like a 6'2". And for me, this is the reason why I believe Suzuki is where he is right now. I think he has a 359 game or 362. I don't have the stat in front of me, but he's on this area of the game about him. So game over. Toronto won by the score 7-3. So I think we get that one. It reminds me if Forsberg balanced that way. Sure, not the same, but similar. Yeah, I can see that. But another player was good also, Fedorov. Saki Fedorov was another player was rare to get. You know what I mean? Like if you go that way compared to other players in the NHL. So great point about Nicholas. Great comments about Nicholas about this. And we should get a goal tonight. 2 goals, KLS. Winskin tonight. 2 of the 3 goals. And the one is Connor McMichael, 15 goal of the year for him. About that, I'm going to remove that. I apologize. I did the wrong one here. I'm going to go back here. And Habs Locker Room Report, the review all those game yesterday, guys. I want to flip over there. We still have about 45 minutes. If you have any questions, guys, in the chat, please don't hesitate to talk to us, ask questions. We're going to go through that. But review of the game, start with Enortap.
Well, I thought it was a game where they battled back. I mean, the first period left a little bit more to be desired. I didn't think Edmonton was really skating that well themselves, and Montreal was turning over the puck a little bit too much. But I think from the second period on, we saw quite a contest. And then by the time it was all said and done, we saw that, you know what, Edmonton at the end got a couple of penalty calls. And you can reflect on whether they were merited or not. That's besides the issue. The fact that Montreal had to spend quite a bit of time, including the majority of the overtime, trying to kill those penalties really took a bit of the umph out of their game. Because I thought in the third period, they were carrying the play to Edmonton. They were creating opportunities, cycling well. They were taking good shots on net. Some good saves were made. I was quite pleased with their overall effort, especially on the road. With a little bit more luck, we would have got the extra point. But, what are you going to do?
Yeah, agree. Like, Edmonton, they've been really tough to play at home. You think Edmonton, you think the two-headed monster, very, very offensive team. But to be honest, guys, like they're a shot suppressing, on fire defensively. They don't give up a lot. Both Pickard and Skinner have been playing really good hockey. I think Pickard won like 8 of his last 9 games or something. He's rocking in 915 save percentage or something in that area, right? So, I think there's some people here saying they weren't impressed with Edmonton, but what this reminded me of was, similar to the Boston game, right? Like they knew that they were going to be playing a team that is definitely feeling it, doesn't give up a lot. They play a pretty good defensive game. Say what you want, like about Edmonton, but those are the stats, right? They're just a pretty good defensive team right now. So to me, is another great example of Montreal playing a good, patient game. Of course, there are some mistakes. I keep talking about. I hate the reverses that the defensemen are doing to themselves. Like I wish that the coaching staff would just have more of a north mentality when it comes to the defensemen. Like so many times I see whether it's Gooley, Harris, or Matheson, and look at other decors. Like they're not afraid to lob the puck out, guys. They go back, they retrieve the puck, and they're not. They don't waste time. You can't waste time when you're retrieving the puck. I just feel that Montreal.
But why to give the puck, the Marko, to opponent team?
I'm saying if you're feeling pressure, right? But I feel like Montreal is like, I get that you want to keep puck possession, but I hate the reverses they do behind the net all the time because it's just allowing the forechecking team to zero in on them.
They don't have that puck moving for defenseman. That's the biggest issue.
That's the thing, guys. Like, which of our defensemen can't skate? Gooley can skate. Harris can skate. Like, other than Savard, all of our defensemen are really great skaters. Just skate it out, man. Just like, I'm not saying always lob out the puck, but if you're feeling pressure, rather than doing the, like, guys, again, like, I invite you, when you watch the games, like, look at how many times they're doing these reverses. I get that they want to maintain puck possession, but I don't want to be critical because, again, I was just saying how patient, and I really like the game. Like their forecheck was completely on. There's a lot of great things. So the only criticism I have is, again, like, they get caught in their zone. These puck retrievals by the defensemen, if they can just find a way to kind of just break out the puck a little bit faster, just won't give these times to come in. Because once they get jammed in there, again, with their man-on-man hybrid coverage that they have right now, it's just really hard, right? With the personnel that they have, and some of the players that we have right now are kind of small too, right? So when you get man on man, you hope that you don't get Caulfield stuck in front of the net with a big forward, because he's, the defenseman might be at the blue line on a man on man. And so I invite everyone, tell me, I'm happy to be wrong, but look at the puck retrievals when the defensemen are back there, and compare it to what you're seeing on the other team. Like, I know as Habs fans, you're often only focusing on the offensive players when we're in the other team zone. But look how the other teams break out much faster than Montreal breaks out, and it's a stark contrast, right? So again, very, very, like, I compare it to the Boston game. To me, it's just another step in them being consistently be able to play up to a higher level of competition, play a patient game, stay in the game. Montembeault, again, a little bit shaky. Like, I think he was fighting the puck a little bit in the first period, but then he settled in really nicely.
Some
Jack-Eye again. Yeah, good saves. I think Jack-Eye was probably the best Canadian, like, probably one of the best. And Coach, I think you were saying it wasn't his best game, but I think he was still probably one of Montreal's best defensemen, steady, right? Like,
who
really steady.
Yeah, and Jack-Eye.
Last night
he was steady. Yeah, he was steady. Yeah. It wasn't one of his best games, but he was steady.
He was not the best defenseman, but he had a good game overall.
No,
Kaden Cody had the best game yesterday.
Yeah, you're right. Like, other than that one mistake,
because the people focus on the goal he gave. After that, Cody was the best defenseman. Look, he's 12 minutes on the ice against McDavid, face every night, all night long, and you don't give a lot. I think for me, Cody, and that's the reason. And I said that Jack-Eye played bad. I just said Jack-Eye, he played another consistency game. He minimized. But again, for me, I don't. If you don't have like 4, 5, 6 hits per game, I don't get it. Defenseman,
I disagree.
Defenseman, you have to go in the corner to hit the players. It's like Josh Anderson. If you don't hit Josh Anderson, what's the point to have Josh Anderson? Like, this is a part of this game. But if Marko, if Jack-Eye cannot hit per night, what's the point for him? Is the physical, like Michael Peseda. If it does not hit, for me, it's what? It was the point for Michael Peseda. You have to use your tools, your best tools of the game. If you don't use your best tool, like if you go in the corner, guys, and you see another players like Evan, Kane, whatever who they are, you have to get there and use his body. For me, it's a minimum 3 hits per game. He doesn't get, it's not good enough. He needs to hit players around. Now, he cannot get hit to get destroyed at the red line and at the line. But in the corner, you don't only play with the stick at who he is. 6'4", 230 pounds. You have to get there to hammer the people in the corner. It's like any
So,
forechecker. If you don't forecheck hard.
Do you know how many
I'm
hits
so
he had
surprised to hear
yesterday,
you think that
Anderson?
way. I'm so
You know how many
surprised to
hits
hear
he had?
you. Yeah, how many hits did he have, Enortap?
1 hit
0.
last night.
Oh, 0. He had 0. Pizzetta was the best out there. He had 6 hits in
Yes.
total.
But okay,
Yeah,
so guys,
and-
like I'm so surprised you think in such a linear way when it comes to this, right? Like, of course, like that is his biggest skill set. But why are we limiting what a player has to do to be successful? Like, of course, we know that is his main thing, right? But like,
No.
if a hit isn't there, like Martin Saint Louis always says, guys, and I'm gonna prove my point just with this one line, coach. You're gonna totally get it. You know what I'm gonna say?
1 hit.
Okay, but coach, let me fit. This is
No.
I'm going to
I
quote
want to
Martin
correct
Saint
it
Louis.
off that. Yeah, 1 hit.
He had one hit.
He
Okay,
did?
but coach, this is exactly what Martin Saint Louis would say to retort exactly what you guys are saying. Okay, you have to play the game that's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be some nights where the hits aren't there. Like maybe it's not the right play to go hit a guy. Maybe it is the right play to use your stick and move the puck out quickly. So I don't like. Why do we have to be so superficial in the way that we analyze whether he's being successful or not? He can be more like. Why are we limiting him as only being the Michael
No, I
Pezzetta?
said to you, if
No,
you
I
don't
get-
use your best tools, it's like Nick Zuski or Cole Caulfield. If they don't use the best tool of the game, the point is there. If you have a chemistry team, you have to get what you need. And it's like, don't tell you going to talk. I'm going to give you how many hits he had per game by Jakai.
Okay.
Johnny, you can consider the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that one.
No,
Why are you
what I was
just
going to
looking at
say,
that, coach? Why are
but
you
it's
just
not.
looking
It's
at that?
but you're looking at it very individually there, Marco. I think what coach is trying to bring out, and I think it makes a lot of sense, is the fact that sometimes, so you take that first period where Montreal didn't seem like they were as engaged as they could be. Well, what do you do to get yourself engaged? You go out there and at least you take the man, you hit. And somebody like Anderson, we said everything he's tried so far has not been going very well. So why not give him an assignment and say, well, at the very least, I'd like to get you to go out there and take a man 4 or 5 times, put him to the board, create a turnover, whatever it is. If that's all you do for now, we're pleased. And we're not seeing that happen. And that's the frustrating part, because there's some nights where it looks like he's not even on the ice. He disappears completely. And I think Marco's
I'll give you an
frozen on us.
example, Marco. You said to me, like, the consistency, Jakai, the last couple of games, right? Every time that, right? Look, he has at some point 5-3-3-4-4-4 during that time.
Yeah.
All right. Before that, you have only 1-3-2-1. The last 2 games, you have 2 hit or 1 hit. For me, I don't set only hit. One of my point behind is to involve his body check in the game.
His
This
physicality.
is on his best of the game. A specific game, yes. But before that, Marco, he has, before he struggled, right? 1-0-3-2-3-1-1-2 for him. Before that, and then he got another slump about another 5-6 game with 2 hit per game. At his best, that was helping me to helping him for his players about that.
Yeah,
and after that, did you eject Marco?
Yeah, press the middle button there.
I like that. I like that. I like that. When he's not that great, come on in off that. Put him out.
Lock him up.
About that. But it's not like I'm complaining.
Yeah.
My point is like
no.
add on his game about that.
Yeah, we're being nitpicky, but we're looking at just areas that stood out, right? And to me also, something that stood out was the fact that if you notice, Edmonton did not put their top line against Montreal's top line yesterday,
No,
which
that
is quite
wasn't
interesting.
on my subject. I'm so I'm
Yeah.
missing that. I'm frozen too, and I know
You
why.
are. I see that.
I know why I'm frozen, Mr. Tap. Is because I hit I hit my desk. When I do that, I froze. My camera does not like it allowed. Mr. Tap. So let me
I
set
see.
up this one over there. I should be fine. The next
Maybe
couple of
that's
seconds.
where
There we go.
Marko is too.
It's funny, Mr. Tap. Every time I did that, the camera froze. So I scared the camera maybe.
Calm, coach, calm, patience.
I know about that. Anyhow, this isn't my point. I'm not complaining about him. I just said for him to be more
Totally.
efficace in French is like more have an aspect of the game Montreal need is to be more a little bit more physical. That's pretty much what I said to you.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally
Yeah,
agree. I think that you have to bring that aspect into the game. Otherwise, if you don't bring the tools that you have, then you're not very useful out there.
exactly. So again, like Nicholas is not the first expect, but those kind of players this don't bring on the table. Is missing something again. Specific game is not hitting a lot. The opposite is not there. You play the sick. I understand that, but for me, I would like to have more hit per at least a minimum 3 game at 3 body check per game. If it's the case, we have a 3-4 game on the last 5 games. You have only 1 or 2 hit, but it's not what I want. I want more from Jekai because I don't expect Iris to get more hit at the end of the night.
Yeah. The right people have to be
Exactly
doing it.
about that. So I don't know. Marko is back. I will check if he's there. Look like he's not there, so he would tell us something happened. I don't know. He was frozen before that, or
Yeah, he was frozen for a little while and then he
okay.
disappeared.
So I
I think the dog,
I would talk to him, and he did not hear
I
anything.
think I think the dog took him out instead of the other way around.
Yeah, possible. But we'll see if I can use other camera. Mr. Tap will stay with me about that.
Yeah,
There we go. I'm coming. Oh, I'm coming here. There we go. About that.
there we go.
There we go. We are back here, Mr. Tap. All right, guys, issue with my computer, rebooting, and Marco, not a problem. It's all right. We just reboot. Iris is more a problem than Jekai. Again, I'm not complaining about Jekai or Jekai. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Tap does a good job in the last 10, 15 game overall. His game, elevate his game. No, it's like anybody else, make mistake like everyone. But overall, he does a good job at the second pairing. For me, David Savard, you put a player with him, he will make them better around them.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed, Coach, as well. With a lot of times when there's scrums happening, it's
Yeah,
not like Jack Guy's the first guy to jump in there and start something. I think he's being very tapered. He's looking at situations very carefully. When he does get involved, he's most of the times he'll take 2 players with him and just keep him out of the action and let other people handle their own battles until he has to really step in. And I think that that's a good call because he's needed more on the ice than he is off the ice.
yeah, sorry about that. We want to welcome back Mr. Bain is in the house, Mr. Tap. Welcome. Thank with
Hey,
us
welcome.
tonight. We appreciate a lot. And everybody, don't forget to click on the like. That'd be awesome. If you have any question, you can add with this. Patrick, all of our actual defensemen will make any NHL team right now. All of our actual defensemen will make any NHL team right now.
All of them? At possibly,
Well,
possibly. I
it's
mean,
pretty good
depending on
about
the
that.
team, right?
I was said wrong about this when you said that good hockey race. Jekai should play center. It would be like the Heinz Ketchup brothers that I need to talk about him.
All right,
Um,
Danny.
I will be back here, Mr. Enortap, because my continence is right there, Mr. Enortap. So
Okay,
the time he's going there, what I can do, I can maybe hide him this way, and that'll be
he'll
good.
be back.
And
He'll be back.
we're going to remove this one. It's not a big deal. about that. Anyhow, let's move on for my next one. I want to talk about guys. Habs Locker Room Report. It takes time to develop, Mr. Enortap. Caulfield is on the right direction. Caulfield is getting better. A lot of people talk about Caulfield like he don't score like he was before. And Martin St-Louis talked to him a lot about what to do with or without the pucks. The touch of the puck is always there all year long. No problem with Caulfield. But he wants to show him the another side of the game where he wants to Caulfield to become a complete players. And that's what happening with him, Mr. Enortap. He's appear like anybody else, Mr. Enortap. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. Back in the house.
There he is.
Sorry, guys. Not sure what happened.
You're back.
Completely locked out.
Yeah, you froze.
I was right.
I believe, I could be wrong, Mr. Enortap, with Marko, but I think Jekai hit Marko and the computer get out everything at the same time. And now we change the subject, Mr. Marko. You're going to like it because you really focus on that. Cole Caulfield is in the right direction. And I'm going to show you the reason I'm talking about. And sometimes we're only looking our eyes, the highlights of the goal, the pass, everything. And then that's it. That's all. If you have no point, you did nothing. But something changing in the game of Cole Caulfield. The last couple of months is really because Martin, so we try to explain to him all the things he can do on the ice to helping the team to create more offensive and to see other options. And I'm going to bring to you guys on this graphic here. And I'm going to talk about this. And then I have another controversy goal tonight. I can wait. Anyhow, Mr. Enortap, let's start with this one. On this play, guys, you're going to see Suzuki coming here. Suzuki cross with Cole Caulfield. Pay your attention to Cole Caulfield. Check the defenseman on for the orders. Now he's coming here. Caulfield open up now. He expect a one-timer shot over there. Sakowski get the puck over there. He's go back over there. Now Cole Caulfield is option passing over there. So why he does nothing here. But look the reaction of the defenseman right here. Oh, he decides, so wait a minute, I'm the problem right there. I have to look about Caulfield too. He just extend his stick, right? But look, Suzuki. A lot of people talk early. He changed his game. He have a meeting in January 16, I believe, with Adam Nicola, the other side of the game, where Suzuki, he want to improve his inside game, the crash to the net, the go on the other area of the game where the percentage is calculated on the data analytics. I don't want to go deep, but look what's his key. He's really focusing on that play with Caulfield, right? And Sakowski, guys, look the pass right there, and you have a goal from that part of there. Why Caulfield there? Because he opened the door, he opened an option, and now the defensemen on the orders have to think about this. Another way, Sakowski on that one guy, he have 0 goal on that one, 0 point. You have a turnover right there. Start with, don't give up. Look his position of his skating on the ice. Open up edges, open his skate, and he push the guy on the board. Usually, when you do this, Marko and Enortap, you want now to help F2. You want another player retrieve the puck and get out. You do your job. You put the guys. We talk about 6 inches difference. We talk about 30 pounds over Caulfield. He's still below there. Now, Caulfield make a big mistake. He gave the puck again. He start with who? He start with Cole Caulfield. And so those area of the game, that's what Martin St-Louis talk about. You need to become a better complete players. That's not shown on the score sheet. But Marko, you know exactly what the details of the game are. I just want to have both comments about this. That's what Martin St-Louis try to teach to the people, to the players, the details of the game. And not only to be only you only scoring goal example for Cole Caulfield.
I'm really glad that you're bringing this up, Coach. Like, it's a very subtle part of the game, right? And it's something that you have to really look for. And when a player is putting the work in to kind of get better at this stuff, it's hard, because it's not probably his first nature. And it's not really something that he's ever done before, right? So it's to the person that's just kind of, you know, watching along and not really paying attention super closely. They're not going to pick up on those things. And to be honest, the overall game is probably going to suffer a little bit because his mind is really focused on trying to create these new habits, right? So it takes a while. And now I think what we're going to see at the end of this process is you're going to see Suzuki. You know how you know that old expression, like the hardest part about creating a new habit is you know the part of like breaking the old habit in. But once you create that new habit, it takes very little energy to keep that new positive habit going. But it's forming new habits and new skills is the hardest part, right? So really, I'm glad you're bringing this up. Like, could anybody imagine last year Cole Caulfield going to the corner with Brendan Carlo and knocking Brendan Carlo off the puck to create a turnover for, you know, like it's unimaginable that Caulfield would be doing that last year. Now it's not perfect, coach. Like we did break down that goal early, I think on Sunday, where 3-on-3, you know, he still didn't do the right read. But guys, everybody makes mistakes like that, right? But it's really
Totally. Yeah.
just Caulfield. It's a testament to how committed he is, because this could go either way, coach. Right? A coach could go to a player who is renowned for goal scoring, try to convince him to say, you know what, I want you to play a completely different way than what's made you successful your whole life. It takes a very strong person that has belief in themselves and belief and a desire to do what's best for the team, for them to actually believe in what the coach is saying and make the personal sacrifice on his own results to do the right thing. Now, I know there's going to be people in the chat saying, why are they doing this? Like we drafted him to score goals. He's paid to score goals, 8.5 million, like all that stuff, right? But like we've been saying all the way since this summer, coach, I would much rather see a Cole Caulfield that scores 30 or 35 goals, gets 70, 80 points, but isn't going to cost you, isn't going to be a minus 15 at the end of the year, and is playing on a winning team. So kudos to Martin Saint-Louis. Like we've said before, in order to be a coach, you have to be a very strong salesperson and sell your ideas and get people to be passionate to buy into those ideas. So very excited. I'm glad you're bringing this up. I hope people understand that it's a really important part of the game. If Montreal is going to be a successful team, players like Caulfield are going to have to buy into this. So very exciting to see that he's buying in.
Enortap?
Yeah, it's very difficult when you're watching the game on TV to see all the intricate little plays and that lead to other plays down the road, right? Like it's not until you're actually at a game that you have that overview of who's where and doing exactly what, and that's when you take special note and you say, let me try to understand why he just did that, and it becomes quite clear a couple seconds later, maybe because the play orients around itself and what that player did. And we're seeing that not just with Caulfield. I think we're seeing it with a couple of other players as well. They're starting to pay more attention to the details of the game. And yes, you have to be a complete player. For me, that's what it's all about. If you can become a complete player, yes, you'll have talent in certain areas more so than others. And in Caulfield's case, I would say there is a sense of validity to the comment he should be scoring more. Even though I agree with you, Marko, that I like to see him as a more complete player. But when you look at key times in a game when you need a goal, that's when you should see somebody like Caulfield step up. And I believe he will, as he's more comfortable in becoming that complete player. Then he can resort to his strengths a little bit more frequently and with more success as well. So it'll happen. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, because the goal scoring, you know, is going to come again, right? Like the shots are still
Yeah.
there, the chances are still there. It's really just the shooting percentage, right? So to me, what that means, like again, I'm not, I don't see all the different practices. I don't have inside scoop into kind of what Caulfield is practicing by himself in his own time and everything. But like I was saying, if his focus is developing these new habits to play the right way, we can assume, because we know for sure that Caulfield in his previous years, he practiced his shot more than anything. That was the thing. That was his bread and butter, was one timer, shot, shoot, shoot, shoot. That's what he was practicing. So in a way,
Yeah.
guys, doesn't it make sense that if he's focused on other parts of his game, maybe he's not spending 70% of his time practicing his shot, which means that, okay, maybe his shot is suffering, the accuracy of his shot, his shot selections might be a little bit different and not as good as before. But that's okay, because all the work that he's putting in on these other rounding out his game, those things are going to become second nature. So that means this summer he can go back and practice his shot again, and maybe the shooting percentage will be maybe not at the same level. I think it was at almost 17% last year,
Yeah,
when he
that
was.
was a little bit exaggerated, right?
Yeah. So maybe he doesn't get all the way up there, all the time, but maybe if he can, because right now I think he's at under 8%, right? So if he can get it somewhere around 12%, the volume of shots that he gets and the chances that he gets, and with the quality of players that he's playing with, I don't think it's going to be a problem, guys. He's going to score goals, but think of it as an investment. St. Louis
Yeah.
and Caulfield himself are making an investment in him so that he's going to be a better player for the rest of his career, and hopefully be part of a winning culture and a winning team that'll win some playoff games, guys, because that's what it's going to take in the playoffs. These are 2-1, 3-2 games. You can't afford to not have somebody playing the right way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. Habs Locker Room, who is at fault?
Oh, the blame game. Here we go.
Mike Madison again involved on that one, ladies and gentlemen. I like that. Why not to put some Enortap and again in the hot seat for one more time. And here we go. The first goal yesterday between the Montreal Canadiens and Edmonton Oilers, guys, it's happening right here. I'm going to show this first time, a turnover right there, and he stopped right away, and this goal of this on this Anderson make a mistake all the way back, and then turn around to be on that one. So the conversation, guys, started with Mac Dumont yesterday, and I jumped on it with remember Matt Drake came here as a guest, and we have a conversation on social media about this. Who is the fault? Madison or Josh Anderson? By the way, Michael Devaney will be live Monday night at 9:00 p.m. Michael back in the house Monday night. So let's get again on that one there. Let's go back right here. Madison is in the corner, guys, with a puck. All right, he forechecked by two players, and he's going to send the puck to Anderson right there. Anderson right there is get pinched by the Edmonton Oilers, create a turnover, and McDavid pick up the puck from Anderson. He's going to score a goal. My question to you is it Mike Madison's fault? Is it Josh Anderson's fault?
Well, I'll take a crack at it. Like, certainly I don't think Matheson put Anderson in the best of positions there with that pass, but I still think Anderson had an ability to make a better play than that with that pass, right? So based on that, like, again, I don't love that breakout, obviously, from Matheson. He was, feeling a lot of pressure. For him, I would much prefer that he just eat the puck there rather than kind of just fling it around. Or do one of those reverses that they love, like I was just complaining about, do a reverse or something like that when you're feeling that much pressure. I would love to see the 30 seconds before this. How long have they been in their zone and all that? Anyways, to me, it's not the best position that he put Anderson in, but I still think Anderson could have done a better play with that puck. Like, just eat it. I just don't think he definitely bobbled with it. And I think that's who I would, if I have to blame someone, I'm still blaming Anderson.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You're right. It wasn't the greatest of passes that he made. As a matter of fact, he had to reach behind to sort of get control of the puck. But you'll notice Anderson, his arms are very, very stiff on the stick, and he's lost all periphery view of who is around him. And all it took was one Edmonton player to step in and steal that puck off of him, and it made it far too easy. And all of a sudden, if you look at the blue shirts that are there are 4 blue shirts that are coming in with this turnover at this stage. So and it leaves one defender because Matheson is sort of out of action right now. By the time he gets back in, it's a second too late. So yeah, I would say Anderson should have handled that a little bit better and been careful with the way he got rid of it.
And another thing, coach, is, and it baffles me. Yeah, so let's see it again here. So can we roll it and let's see kind of how Anderson received. So okay. So we see Matheson
So
here
they
is
close out. Yeah, they close out Matheson,
yeah.
which
So
is the
but
right thing to do.
yeah. So but look, Anderson still has a lot of time here. Like he could have. He needs to do more shoulder check here. Like he should feel that there's somebody behind him, and he could have just easily kind of like banked it off on his backhand behind the player or something like that. Or like the thing
Or
that always
he
shocked
could
me
have.
about Anderson is that like look at how Slavkovsky uses his body to shield the puck. Like I just find Anderson doesn't know how to use his frame to really protect pucks very much. Like he's always looking to kind of skill guys, right? Like to deke them or whatever. But why doesn't he use his body more to protect the puck? Like look here, like he's got the puck in a completely, really, really kind of like in a place that's really kind of gonna be at risk of being poke checked, right? Like he could just like he knows he's getting that pressure, so why not just kind of like use his back to shield the guy and then kind of like turn around and just backhand it out of the zone. Like as a
The other
winger,
thing,
this is
yeah.
what you need to be
Sorry,
good at, right? Like, your
I
job
was
is
gonna
to be
say.
those passes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I didn't see it until you rolled it back, Coach. I mean, Matheson had another choice. I mean, he could have gone back to Gooley, and Gooley would have reversed it on the weak side where there weren't as many blue shirts. It would have been a lot easier than perhaps dumping the puck up to Anderson at that stage. Like if you
Yeah,
roll
but
it
like
back, you'll see he yes, he is pinched in, but he still has his right side to dump that puck but behind to Gooley, and there's nobody
but I mean,
around Gooley. He would.
but look, like Anderson's who is that skating in the middle there? Like why is it like Anderson has the ability to kind of just quickly chip that puck for a breakout? Like that's what I was talking about, guys. Like we need to be a lot faster and make
Even
faster
look.
reads to break out of the zone, right? Like that's what I don't like. Like by doing these reverses all the time, like I want them to go north, right? So they just need to be better at breaking out the puck. Like again, like look at how much space Anderson has. Like we're saying, and like Anderson was in a bad position, but he's got like almost 2 feet by the time he's got the puck, and he's got somebody breaking out the zone. Like why is he?
Yeah,
Why
but
is he?
Marco, he he puts a stick in front before he turns his body. That's what got him into trouble. Like roll it a bit, coach, forward, and you'll
So
see
again,
as soon as if you can just
But
roll it, let it go for a bit
yeah,
until
just
Anderson
prior to that,
gets
I
the
will
puck.
say to you guys, Madison feel the pressure is coming to and in front of him, right? He see the guy behind him, he knew already. He see the guys coming for him. Look the big hole in the middle. Like
exactly.
it's he see right there. So you see no pressure for Edmonton Oilers. So he said, I just need to put there. This is the best option. This is the best option he has. The shaker option for him is to run the puck around the board. That's simple right there. So you have 2 options right there, but you have no problem to send the puck between the players right there, between Anderson and White at that moment. So for me, Madison it's okay right there. And after you want me, tell me stop here there.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, right there.
Yeah,
So coach, like look, so the puck is almost on his stick here on a tap, like, and he can
yeah,
he's got to have that awareness. Like he's got a guy like all he needs to do is chip it forward, and then
yeah.
he's
Here
got it.
we go. That's the word I'm
You're
looking
right.
for. Right there.
But look what he does. He puts a stick in front before he even turns his body to be able to make that play, right?
Yes,
He doesn't.
because his option in our tap, right here, he's go right there. He see Madison. What usually
Yeah.
the 85% of the time, what do you do? The defenseman, they rim the puck to the
Along.
board, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So he expect that because look his body, look he's going.
yeah,
Oh, now he made a pack in the middle. So now he said, wait
yeah.
a minute, I'm going to have now. I have to take decision. It's now anticipation's coming on his head. Anticipation, I'm going to get pinched most of the time, or if I have to be quick, I have to go there. But he does not stop enough, right? And now he stopped right there. Here's the mistake, guys, right here. You want to go details again when we really go on the video. Look, if I was the coach, I said, look, Anderson, why you stop on your left legs right here,
Yes.
and then you're
Yes.
going to do a cross over to catch puck the back over there. I just stop one leg and push again on your left legs, and then go back on your right legs, but no cross over. When he does the crossover, he become now unstable on his skate. Look, it's completely right there. He had no time to chip on that one over there. The reaction is too late for Anderson. He got pinched over there. The other option you can do is to protect the puck and turn around your body to the defenseman.
Exactly.
That would be the other option
Exactly.
Anderson should do. Chip or protect the puck over there and go to the corner and go to the wall. But what he does, you have to give credit for the defenseman or the defense of the others guys. He pinched right there at the right stick
That was
and
McDavid, I
that
think.
way over there.
Not McDavid. That was McDavid that did that pinch, right? Or is
No,
that him
it's
that gets?
McDavid pick up the puck after that.
Okay. Yeah. So, Coach, I'm really glad you brought this. Like, remember, I was just talking about how I want the team to play north more, right?
Yeah.
I love that read from Matheson, right? Like, especially in the second period, guys. The reason that Montreal keeps getting stuck in their zone is they're not making aggressive reads like that to get out of their zone. They're like, it seems like the defensemen are always very nervous to try to make a play. Like you illustrated, Coach. Like Matheson saw a huge hole, and he sees he's got two guys open, ready to kind of like break out the puck. So I want Martin Saint Louis or Latowski to encourage their defensemen. Like if you see a read to get the puck out quickly, that's what we want. We don't want to spend time in our zone. Yes, we want puck possession, but it's kind of like overpassing on the power play. Like guys, like watch when they go back for the puck in their zone. It drives me absolutely nuts how many times they're reversing. Like sometimes they reverse 4 times, just going back and forth, reversing behind the net. And you can see the forecheckers, it just gives them, sometimes it allows for a team to actually change up their whole line and then come in and forecheck, or it allows the forecheckers to come in. So I have no problem with Matheson's play on here. You just need the wingers to be more aware, and they need to break out, as a 5-man unit a lot more, and just be more aggressive. Like I would much rather do that than just be super conservative in their zone and just wait for the other team to wear you down and just keep pressuring the puck, and then that's when they get pinned in. So great pickup, Coach. Good
All right.
conversation.
And after I want to add something or
No, I agree with a lot of that. It's just that I still feel, even though we have some very good skaters as defenders on our team, I still don't believe that they have the stick handling ability to evade a check as it comes on. And I think that's what's causing the turmoil, that they're passing back to each other and recycling it that way. It's because there isn't. I still believe that you need somebody like a Quinn Hughes or a Cale Makar, obviously, that can single handedly take the puck out of the end zone.
But guys, like
And
you look at almost any team, like Vegas, like other than Peter Angelo, you have pretty average skilled. Like you don't need to be like stick handle in a phone booth to kind of just go back, retrieve the puck, and make a quick front pass. Like all I'm saying is that they need, like, it's a little bit about poise. Like often, like you'll see like the defense will go back and they'll bobble with the puck a little, like even if it's just like a second or 2 seconds, they bobble with the puck. But I think it's because if the coaching staff imprinted in their minds, we want quick ups, then they're not going to be thinking about, okay, so I need to kind of reverse it back and forth until we find the right lane and all that. Like the whole team needs to have an attack mentality to get out of the zone as quickly as possible. That's what I would like to see. Because again, you don't need to. I'm not saying they have to stick handle through guys. It just get the puck, quickly turn. Guys should be coming low to kind of so there's not a huge gap, right? Like remember,
breakup plays.
sometimes
You're talking
there's a
about
huge
breakup plays. Yeah.
like like what you don't want is like you need to give your defenseman options. Like sometimes defensemen get blamed, and it's not their fault, but you're like, okay, why didn't he kind of break out the puck? Well, he has no options. Like the forwards are already like at the red line waiting for a breakout pass, right? So, but Montreal, they're pretty good at coming back, right? Like, so as long as the center is coming back, like that's how these breakouts happen. The center is supposed to come back, give the defenseman an option, and they break out. So Montreal just like I don't find that I haven't heard a lot of time in practice this year spent on their breakouts. You've heard St. Louis talk a lot about forechecking. You've heard a lot about other elements of the game, power play and everything else, but I haven't heard them talk about their breakouts as much. And to me, that's such a critical part of the game, coach, is you need to have quick breaks. Like a transition game is so important.
No question there. No question.
So if I have to respond to you, Marko has said to me on my for what I'm thinking is about, okay, how my defenseman can you only need to beat F1. That's it. That's all. You don't have to carry on the puck all the way to the red line. Just beat F1. When we beat F1, we become a 5 versus 4. Now your option passing is a bit better on the ice. Yeah. So at the end of the day, Marko, it's just about get out on the one side behind the net and go get your F1 out. Montreal putting the puck on the corner or to opposite corner, and then they're skating. And obviously, guys, we don't have a lot of skater defensemen to carry on the puck all the way.
I disagree. Name other than
Marko. Yeah, it's not natural. It's not a Roman Ozy. It's not like a Victor Edmond. We don't have those kind of players like that. They carry on the puck all the way. We have, F1 is fine, but to go there with their stick and lane are not. They are limited on the stick and lane. Jacky don't have a great stick and lane. Coley don't have a great stick and lane. Iris don't have a great. They are not natural like the top players in NHL. Letank example.
No, but
McCall example. We don't have those kind of. The only one we have is Madison.
Well, no. So, but again, you were just saying they don't need to stick handle through 3 players to break out. Like if all they really need to do, so that you go back, retrieve the puck, you just need to either a quick up to your D partner or to your forward that's coming down to support you, quick outlet pass, and then you skate it out. But again, like you just really need to beat that F1, right? Like I think Montreal has a lot of gifted skating defensemen. Like again, they're not, they're not Letangs and they're not obviously Makars, and they're not going to stick handle through everyone. But
on the flip side, Marko, we said to you where they are good. They are very good to join the rush without the puck. Like they really like Coley yesterday. Another great example. We see the goal of Coley yesterday, he goes straight on the wall when he's in an open space in front of him. And he got a great pass by Jake Evans, by the way, on that pass for Evans on that one. Those kind of players, we see this many times. The Montreal Canadiens are really good defensemen on the goal line, on the blind to the goal line. They really go rush there. Because for me, this is who they are. And
so it's for not what about skating. Got. So it's not about skating, coach. Like we can't say that we don't have good skating defensemen. Like I think other than Savard, I would say that the Montreal D-Corps has very, very strong skating.
But when I talk that way, I would say a puck mover, a carry on the puck, a puck mover.
Yeah,
I think we don't have those kind of players like other the best in the NHL. That's why the only one we have is really Madison. But yes, we can beat the F1, Marko, and when you do the F1, you open up more. So I cannot understand your point of view about that. Like, that's where, I said to you guys sometime, quick ups in the term in hockey, guys, is like your puck retrieval usually close to the blue line, not at the goal line. So a team give you back the puck on the blue line, and then you want to have your forward quick up right away over there. Sometimes, Marko, the option passing is not there for the defenseman. At that moment, they go to retrieve backwards again one more time. it's a chemistry, a communication between the forward and defenseman about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you can't always again, I don't want to make it sound like it's always a bad play to regroup and do to kind of pass it back and forth to each other and like that. But it just seems like it's really repetitive, coach. Like they really get stuck in their own zone. And, I find that they rely on it just a little bit too much. And I think just having a mentality, I remember hearing that expression a lot a couple of years ago, coaches that like their teams to play north, like a north game rather than, I get puck possession is sometimes you're going to go back and do regroups and all that. And I get that. The Leafs are the ones that really kind of brought that in, rather than dumping it in, going back and doing regroups. So puck possession is good. I get it. But sometimes you just have to break it out because, you just really kind of get swamped, especially we know with Montreal second periods, 2.5-minute shifts, your defenseman gets stuck on there. It's causes injuries, causes too many shots. Right? And, yeah.
Yeah, that's when you get caught in those situations that you've been on the ice too long, it's going to cause turnovers. And then that's where, the other team ends up scoring more times than not. But I still agree. Yeah, definitely you have to have a breakout play. That's what creates the speed to the game as well, which really, if we're looking at Montreal this year, that's one area we can confidently say there hasn't been a lot of speed to their game. There's been players that skate very fast, but overall, as a team, it hasn't been there. And it's something that usually starts with the breakout.
Yeah, the transition play could improve for sure.
Yeah.
So we passed 11 o'clock. We just finished with that part. We don't go take any position this week, but I would like to see what your expectation for Vancouver tomorrow night, and then next week, guys, we're going to skip the weekly recap. We play Sunday night, so no weekly recap Sunday. But what is your expectation for Vancouver Canucks tomorrow night?
My expectation
is another tough game.
I'm going to be sleepy. Expectation.
It's another tough game. Even though Demko's still on the bench, injured. They're getting the goaltending from the Smith. The team is very solid at home. They haven't lost a lot of games at home. Montreal's going to have to come up with a great game plan again in order to slow down the constant attack that they can throw at you.
Former Habs great and legend, DeSmith probably comes back to haunt his old team, right? That's the script that we're all expecting. So, we'll watch Smith stand on his head. Maybe if it was in Montreal. Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. By the way, I'm glad that they finally did sit Pearson. Like it was long overdue for him to sit a couple games. We'll see very quickly. Who do you think gets into the lineup now that Raw's not going to play? Do you think Delonin comes back in, or do you see Pearson?
I see Pearson.
Pearson return Vancouver?
Yeah.
Yes. We got to play Ylonen again at some point.
But maybe not. This is not the game, though.
Do you put back Allen, or you keep Pezzetta?
I keep Pezzetta. I like Pezzetta. I like what he brings.
Yeah.
I know you love him too, Coach. Admit it. You love Pezzetta.
But at the night, we'll see. Could play. I have no clue. Whoever they put there is, for Alex Newhook.
I think you have RHP. You put RHP, that's really the only option you got, honestly.
All right, guys, that concludes the show tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed, everyone, the show. And we want to thank the co-host Enortap and Marko and the moderator Danny with Luciano and, of course, Mr. Ron with Kings. Kings lead 3-0 after 20 minutes. Victor Edvardson scored his first goal of the year. Back in the lineup for them. Philippe Dano have a goal and Kevin Fiala for them. That's who have a 5 point tonight. That's the resume of the 3 game. And then the Star win 5-2 against the Coyotes. Until then, my friend, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Here we go. That's conclude the locker room. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday. Until next time, guys, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. Marko?
Your 2024.
You did it again. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. I'll see you next time, next week. Until then, the Hockey Nation Show and the Habs Nation will tell you one more thing. We love you, people. Have a great night, Mr. Marko and Enortap. Thanks again to be with us tonight.
Good night, guys.
Thank you. Easy.
Good night.
Early night tonight. I get to go to bed.
There we go. Oh, I'm close. Good night, everybody. RJ, thanks so much. Luc Laverson, Yann, Nicolas de Gobi-Bonno, Nicholas, Yamo, Patrick LeWhite. Thanks for all the chat you got tonight with us. Merci beaucoup, Luc. Oh. Booyah!